There is a specific type of pain that comes from loving someone who you wish they were. If those words resonate with you, then this podcast is going to be for you. Trying to love someone and trying to turn them into something that you know deep down in your heart of hearts that they can never be, then you're in the right place. You're in the right place. We're going to break it down. We're going to have an extended dialogue about it, looking for feedback from my Veracious Podcast followers, and we will just keep the process flowing that way. So think about this. Have you been in a relationship before and the person that you're with just doesn't seem to be loving you based on your love language or showing up for you how you believe that they should show up for you? It's not who they are, not how they show up, but who you imagine they could become if they tried just harder. You've had the conversation with the person multiple times. I'll use the idea that you want them to be a faithful partner. You're requesting for them to be a faithful partner, a stand-up individual, someone who's honest, someone who doesn't step out of the boundaries of the relationship. And you continually find that they're voiding or misusing or just disrespecting the boundaries in which you set for a monogamous relationship. This episode is for anyone waiting for a faithful partner who keeps cheating, a good person who keeps showing cruelty, an honest friend who keeps lying. At some point, we have to say to these individuals that this is no longer acceptable. And we have to even dig a little deeper into what it is about us that keeps allowing us to allow our partner to show up less for us each time we ask them to be faithful, be honest. What's inside of me? What's really inside of me as an individual that I keep accepting less than from this person? Why do I think I can shape this person to become something that I just don't think that they have the ability to become? We have to get that out of our mind. We can't keep seeing people through rose-colored glasses. And you can't keep saying they're not a bad person, they're just broken. That's an excuse that you're saying for them, that you're allowing them to have. And that allows them to continue to have this negative behavior. Today, we're going to talk about why we do this, why it hurts so deeply, and when hope becomes self-abandonment. Sometimes we hope for things so greatly in our partners that we abandon our own self and our own boundaries because we believe that this person has the ability to show up for us when they truly don't. They can't even really show up for themselves. So they hide behind the lies, the affairs, the just bad behavior. That's what's happening. Let's talk about it. Part 1, potential is not a promise. It's not a promise because when we see people for their potential, that does not mean that they will fulfill the promise that we see in them or ones that they put out for us. That's not to say run away from someone who's not making a real hard attempt to try and become the individual that you desire them to be or the individual that they said that they're working to become. That's not saying disregard or discard a person who's really working on becoming that person. One of the most dangerous ideas we're taught is this: if I love them enough, they will change. That's one of the most difficult ones because we believe deep down in our heart of hearts that if I love this person enough that they will change, or if I begin changing something about me, maybe that will change their behavior and how they treat us in our relationship. And that's not always the case. You can't love someone into good behavior. You can't love someone into honesty. These have to be characteristics that are inside of this person naturally. Or these can be characteristics that are in this person that need to be cultivated, but they have to be willing to do the work themselves. You can't love a person to change them. It just doesn't work that way. But potential is not a contract. It's not an obligation, and it's not a guarantee. People don't change because they're loved. They change because they choose to. If someone is struggling in an area of their life and they want to become a better person, they will make the steps to begin changing and doing different things because they know it will benefit not only themselves, but it will benefit their partner. If someone wants to lose weight and you have addressed their weight issues with them, that you say that their eating is unhealthy, that you're concerned that it may lead to a heart attack, and they say over and over again, I'm going to change, I'm going to stop eating so much fast food, I'm going to stop spending so much money out, but over a few months, a few years, you never see them change, you have to sit them down and have a real dialogue and ask them when. What's holding up this process? What's inside of you that you can't honor your own boundaries? If someone keeps showing you who they are, you have to believe them. You have to believe this individual. You can't keep thinking that they're going to become something you're not. I use the phrase often, and you'll hear me say it here on the podcast often, that seeing someone through rose-colored glasses. You see the beauty in this individual. Your friends around you warn you about this individual, that this individual doesn't have any good in them, or they see the problems inside of them, or they see the things that you're dealing with, but you choose not to see it because you're so in love with this person. I'm so in love with them, and I believe they're going to change, and they just need one more chance, and they apologized, or they bought me flowers, and they took me here, they did these things, bought me some jewelry, so I know they really mean that they truly love me. It's not their apologies. It's not their intentions. It's not their trauma. It's their patterns we're going to pay attention to. We need to pay attention to patterns. Yes, people can make mistakes, but what type of mistake are people making? If someone is out actively cheating on you, that means they're lying. That means they're rearranging schedules. That means they're hiding their cell phone. That means that they are not allowing you into that personal part of their life. This could be a work husband, a work wife. And then you begin seeing a pattern with this individual that they maybe have cheated once. Now they've cheated twice. This is who they are. They're not going to change. They stay because they know you allow them to have that behavior. Part 2, why we fall in love with who they could be. Why do we fall in love with the potential? We don't fall in love with the reality. We fall in love with the version we see the best in them on that particular day. The moment of tenderness, the glimpse of goodness. Oh, they're taking the trash out, or oh, they're plowing the sidewalk, or they're really good with their kids, or they treat me really gently, or when we're together, we have such good times. And sometimes we believe as individuals that our good times override our bad times. And we'll often forget the bad times that we experience with this person. And then we build an entire future around those moments, right? We live in those roses. We live in those flower petals. We live in the butterflies. We live in those moments, not realizing that this person's character is truly flawed and they have no intention or no ability to change. Sometimes what you're really attached to isn't them. It's the story you're telling yourself about them. We can make people out to be our biggest heroes. We can make people be our biggest losers. But what story are we telling ourselves about this individual? That's my child's mother. That's my child's father. They're such a great parent. They care for their parents really well. They really have really long-lasting relationships. They're a really good friend to those who come to them in need. But when it comes to our relationship, they put us last. And they always find a way to put themselves first, either through lying, cheating, mismanagement of financial resources in the house. So the story that you tell yourself is going to be so important about who this person really is, because if you're not honoring who they truly are and who they're showing you through their patterns, then you're always going to be stuck in this cycle of them just abusing and disrespecting the boundaries of the relationship. Part 3, trauma makes us feel familiar. Trauma makes us feel familiar and safe at times. Here's the hard part. If chaos feels familiar, peace feels boring. Oftentimes people are used to drama, and you'll trick yourself into believing that I don't like drama. I don't want to be involved with a whole lot of drama. I like a nice peaceful relationship. But your body and subconscious becomes so used to the trauma and the instability of the relationship that it becomes normal, that you feeling that they have an affair is just a normal thing. You'll even say statements to yourself about your partner having affairs that, well, my mom always told me that men always have more than one woman. So as long as he's taking care of the household, the bills, and things of that nature, then you can just let a man be a man. But if inconsistency feels normal, stability feels suspicious. And when things get stable, that's when your spidey senses start tingling. That's when you start really looking for information and trying to figure out what's going on. But many people stay. I'm going to tell you the reason why many people stay, because they learn to earn the love. That's what it is. That's the reason why you're staying, because you learn to earn their love. When they are doing well, you'll stay in that because you believe that, well, things are going really well. Kids are in school. Our house is mortgage is up to date. All these different reasons as to why I will stay is because I feel as though I'm earning their love. And then you wind up confusing intensity with connection. Then you think struggle equals depth. And you think like, well, everybody goes through stuff. You ever told yourself that before? You ever told yourself that? Is that when you're going through problems in a relationship, you'll say, well, everybody goes through problems. So this is kind of how things work out. This is what happens in relationships, that people go through things. What marriage has ever lasted or relationship ever lasted without dealing with some type of struggle? That's a lie that we tell to ourselves to justify their bad behavior. So when someone says treat them poorly, they say, at least I know what to expect. Pain becomes predictable, and predictable pain feels safer than unfamiliar peace. Over time, you just become numb to the fact, or you almost expect that at some point they're going to step out again. At some point, they're going to have another affair. At some point, they're going to lie again. And I just have to be okay with that, because I believe deep down inside that this person is the best version of what I accept, or what I am willing to accept at this time in my life. You don't do anything new until you experience something new. Oftentimes, you don't know that there's better out there until you go out and get better for yourself. Part 4, you're not their teacher or their therapist. You're not here to fix the individual. Loving someone doesn't mean fixing them. You're not here to fix the individual. It's impossible to fix someone who doesn't want to be helped themselves. How can you help someone else if you can't help yourself? And wanting someone to be a good person doesn't make them one. It's just not enough. That's not enough love. It's not enough thought out ability. It's not enough knowledge to have, is to know that I want them to be a good person. So at some point they will become this good person. And you cannot, I repeat, you cannot love someone into honesty, support someone into faithfulness, and explain someone into accountability. You just can't do that. But what you can do, and what you have been doing, is making excuses for this person's behavior. You'll even downplay their behavior to some of your friends and family who've actually called them out on their behavior. You'll stand up and step in place of their own accountability because you believe that this person has goodness deep down inside of them. Change requires self-awareness, and accountability requires humility. If they don't have those, no amount of patience will create them inside of them. No amount of patience will create that inside of the person. So you have to be okay with being okay. And you have to be okay with walking away. I know it's tough. I know most people don't want to hear that. I know most people are like, you know what? I couldn't imagine myself walking away from this individual. I couldn't imagine myself being apart from them. We have so much history together. My life is stable in certain areas. So I'll just stay and ride this wave out, and I'll allow them to continue to be who they be while you're being emotionally drained, financially drained, mentally drained, spiritually drained, and you're continuing to stay with this individual. Part 5. When hope becomes self-betrayal. You literally hope so much for this individual to become the person you want them to be that you are really betraying yourself. Hope is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. But hope without boundaries is dangerous, because hope leads you into this place that everything is going to be okay at some point, that they can go to therapy, that they can get the help. But this person that you're dealing with, your partner, continues to demonstrate this horrible behavior. They continue to have this horrible behavior. And if staying requires you to ignore your intuition, lower your standards, justify disrespect, abandon your needs, then understand that this is probably not the person for you. But it takes strength to walk away. It does. In 2025, this year ending in 2025, this financial economy that we're in will make people stay. Having kids together will make people stay. And you have to understand that it does take a lot of strength to walk away, because would you rather spend the good years of your life dealing and battling with someone who's been treating you less than, or would you rather step out on faith and try and go out and obtain or get these things that you know that you deserve, such as respect, honesty, loyalty? It's not love. It's called survival, and that's why people do it. And at some point, staying hopeful becomes staying stuck. And loyalty to someone else can become disloyalty to yourself. We have to be honest with ourselves. And I keep repeating that mantra because it's so important to be honest with ourselves and about who people truly are. Because if we are not honest with ourselves and who people truly are, then we keep getting less than. And acceptance is not giving up. Acceptance doesn't mean you stop caring. It just means you stop arguing with reality. It just means that I've come to a place in my life now and I realize that this person has the inability to be who I want them to be. I see you for who you are. Anybody ever been in a relationship and you finally see this person for who they are? Like you take these glasses off, you enter into the reality of real world, and you sit back and you look at this person and you can see them. You're eating dinner from across the table and it's almost like a lightning bolt goes off and you see this individual for who they are. And you're like, oh my God. I cannot believe I'm sitting across the table from Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm kidding. Not Jeffrey Dahmer. But I cannot believe that I'm sitting across the table from a sociopath or a psychopath or someone who's inherently a liar. It means that this is who they are right now. That's what it means when you see this person for who they are. This is who they are right now. I need to see them for who they are, and I have to be okay with them being who they are. But that does not mean I have to sacrifice my own happiness and my own loyalty to myself because this is who they are. Not who they could be, not who they promise to become, but who they consistently show themselves to be. Is it true? Do you guys believe it's true? Once a liar, always a liar? Do you believe it's true? Once a cheater, always a cheater? Do you believe that's true? Or has your partner cheated on you a few times? Have they lied to you a few times? Have they stepped outside of your marriage a few times? Have they spent more money, spent hidden funds in another account on some other different things that you don't know about? And you come to find out about it and you forgive them and you accept it. And then you choose to get it. Stay or accept it fully. That's the decision you have to make. Am I going to stay or am I going to accept it fully? Or leave and grieve honestly? Because leaving is grieving. I'll say that again. Leaving is grieving. When you have to walk away from a long-term relationship, someone who you've built a life with, someone that you've known for many years, you have to make the decision and understand that it will seem similar to death. A divorce, for those people who've experienced a divorce, is similar to a death. It's similar to grieving an individual and grieving a lifestyle that no longer exists and that most often than not will never, ever exist again. What destroys people is staying while pretending. That's what destroys you over time. That's what causes you to be bitter. That's what causes you to have doubt for future relationships. That's what causes people to say, you know what? I don't think I'll ever be in a relationship again because I stayed so long with this other person and I believe that they could become something other than what they've shown themselves to be. It's a thing, guys. It really is. It's something, being in a relationship with somebody and they just can't meet your measure. And we make all these excuses for them, that we want them to be this great individual, that we see them becoming someone other than who they are. And this is all they know. A lot of people here in this life don't like to deal with their own demons. A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't like to have that real tough conversation with that this is who they are. And a very selfish person who may be out cheating or lying to you on a continual basis, and notice that they never break up with you, is because they're comfortable with you allowing them to have this behavior. They become comfortable in it. So you're like, well, they never left the family. They never walked away. They never got tired enough and quit what happened, because who wouldn't want to stay in a comfortable position that allows them to do these other things that are self-fulfilling, good or bad, and not have to worry about losing home, not have to worry about someone caring for the kids, not have to worry about Betty Homemaker at the house. You know those parts are going to be taken care of while you live this alternative lifestyle. It takes strength. I want you guys to know that. It takes a lot of strength to build up, to make the decision that you deserve better. And my question for the audience is, for my Veracious Podcasters, is, do you believe that you deserve better? Do you truly believe that in your heart of hearts that you deserve better? Do you? I want you to sit with that question. I want you to sit and ponder that for a while. Because if you're currently in a relationship now and you're receiving less than treatment, you're dealing with a liar, you're dealing with a cheater, you're dealing with someone who just can't seem to measure up to what you want them to be, or even that idea that they sold you that they could be this individual. You keep forgiving them, keep staying in the cycle. Don't think you can do any better. They'll even tell you that you can't do any better than them. Maybe they're the breadwinner, and that leads you to believe that you have to stay with them and accept this behavior because this person is a breadwinner. I hope and I pray for those who are going through things like this, that you find the strength and the courage to walk away from an individual like this, that you make the tough decision that's in the best interest for you and those that you love to walk away from this. You only have one life. It does not make sense to waste your life with someone who's wasting your time, who does not respect your boundaries, who does not love you according to your love languages. And no one is going to love anybody based on all their love languages. But if they're not honoring the most valuable ones or the biggest ones, we got to make that difficult decision. If this episode hit close to home, take a deep breath. You didn't love wrong. You just love past the truth. I often say this too, is that sometimes that love will make you overstay your welcome. Let that marinate in your spirit. Love will make you overstay your welcome. You'll stay beyond the time that you're supposed to be with this person, is because you love them more than you loved yourself. And then when you finally get out of the relationship and you snap to reality, You'll realize that you overstayed your welcome. You'll realize that this person maybe never really loved me, that this person was just using me or taking advantage of who I was because they saw the goodness in me, and I never had the courage to see who they truly were, which was a scumbag. Let people be who they are so you can be who you're meant to be. Everybody is not meant to go where you are going. Wherever that journey is carrying you, if you're bringing overstuffed luggage or you're bringing dead weight with you, it will make you sink. Your little ship that you're on now in the travel highway of life, you will lose your destination being with the wrong person. Again, this is Anwar, and this is the Veracious Podcast. Drop your comments down below. Like and subscribe to the podcast. Let me know your thoughts. Are you currently with someone that you're dealing with who is not being honest, who's not being upfront? Drop a comment down below. I want to talk to you guys. Let's have a dialogue and a way we can hopefully heal ourselves while allowing them to move on with their lives and be who they need to be. I appreciate you guys. Thank you again for staying with the Veracious Podcast, and I look forward to talking to you guys again. Peace. And we're out.